Crew members stood their watch for 4 hours. At the end of the first half hour, the bell was struck once. After 1 hour, the bell was struck 2 times. This continued until striking the bell for each half hour until striking 8 bells, telling the duty crew that they had completed their watch and could now rest. Division commanders. Division 1, do you have anybody that crossed the bar?
No members crossed the bar.
Division 2.
No members crossed the bar.
Division 3, representative.
Carl Graffenstock, Flotilla 38.
Division 4.
Richard Fleck, Flotilla 42.
Division 5.
None to report.
Division 6.
I had several. Richard Seifert, Flotilla 62. Richard Willingham, Flotilla 62. Kay Newbig, Flotilla 63. Lauren Holm, Flotilla 63. Stephen Dana, Flotilla 63. Mike Nolan, Flotilla 66. And Doug Kroll, Flotilla 66.
I lost count. Is that 7?
Yeah.
Okay, 7.
So flotilla.
Division 7, then crossed the bar.
Division 7.
My apologies. None.
Division 8.
None.
Division 11.
None.
Yeah. Okay. The crossing of bar is a very significant ceremony, and there's a poem that goes with it. Sunset and evening star, and one clear call for me, and may there be no morning of the bar when I put out to sea. But such a tide as moving seems asleep, too full for sound and foam, one which drew from the boundless deep turns home again. Twilight and evening bell, and after the dark, may there be no sadness of farewell when I embark. For thou from out are born of time and place. The flood may bear me far. I hope to see my pilots face to face when I cross the bar. Our shipmates have completed their watch and may now rest in peace. Okay, and you strike it 8 times now, please. Thank you, sir.
Thank you. Thanks, both of you. Great job, Jim and Jenny. So it is my pleasure and my honor to introduce our National Commodore, Alex Maluski, and thank you.
Good morning. Good morning. Normally I start out remarks like this by thanking everybody for what they do, and I'll get to that, but I have to thank you for something else first. Thanks for letting me be here. This is outstanding. I can't tell you how much I'm appreciating, how much I'm enjoying actually being in an auxiliary meeting in person. For the, I think it's not the first time in 2 years, was just a couple weeks ago at N-Train in St. Louis, but this is the first district meeting I've been to. And this is one of the things I looked forward to, is being National Commodore, attending district meetings. For me, this is the best part. And it's the first meeting of the day is always great. This is when you could finally, relax, take a deep breath and say, yes, I did remember all my uniform pieces. It's a big relief. Now we all have that test tonight with the dress uniform. What did I forget? Oh my God. And it's great because I'm finally attending a meeting for the first time in 2 years where I'm fairly confident everybody's wearing pants. I have to admit, I always did wear a full uniform because I knew I'd be the one to stand up. My wife would say something and I'd get up and go, oh my God. But we've learned a lot over the last 2 years. And more than learning, we survived. Not only that, we thrived. And for that, I want to congratulate everyone. This wasn't easy. It really wasn't. It's not easy being an auxiliarist. We all know that. It's tough between mandated training and PQSs and all this stuff. It's not easy, but it's not supposed to be easy. I don't know about you, but my mom always told me if it's easy, it's not worth it. You have to work hard. And what the auxiliary did, what you did, congratulations. Because, back 2 years ago, I can't tell you how many calls and emails and notes that I got that told me we weren't going to survive COVID. It was going to kill the organization. It was just done. Flotillas is folding left and right, and we're done. We might as well just close shop. And I never believed that for a second. Really didn't. But honestly, I underestimated you. I didn't think you'd do this well. Not only did we survive, we thrived. We developed a whole new set of virtual skills that will carry on forever. We're going to be more efficient, more effective, more agile than we ever were before. 5 years ago, if I told you we're going to have a virtual election, what would you say? Oh God, oh, how are we going to do this? What do the standing rules say? How are we going to do this? One of the best things about my position is I get to attend the leadership conference 4 times a year at headquarters. And it's the commandant, the vice commandant, the 2 deputy commandants, the 2 area commanders, the master chief officer of the petty guard, of the Coast Guard, and the NACO, myself. So it was my privilege, my honor to represent you, at the table, and take part. And, the first time I went was in November, second week of November, 2020. And the commandant, he goes, Alex, how's the auxiliary doing with COVID? I go, sir, we're doing good. Kicked our butt into the 21st century. He looked at me, he goes, us too? He goes, us too. I go, the virtual skills. I go, we had 1,100 virtual elections back in the fall of 2020, 1,100. And I said, I'm the first national commodore in the history of this organization to be elected virtually. Commandant looked at me and sort of smiled. And remember, this is about 2 weeks after the presidential election. He goes, anybody challenging your election? I said, no. But great commandant, and I was telling your leaders yesterday, the new commandant, Admiral Fagan, she's a win-win, for the auxiliary. It's tremendous for me. When I was the district commodore of 1 South, she was D1. She was the D1 commander. So I worked with her since she was captain of the port in New York. So, and when she was replaced by Admiral Poulin when I was commodore, and now he's the vice. And she loves the auxiliary. She knows our potential, she knows our capabilities, and it's a win-win. So I'm excited about that. Also, we have a new chief director. The new chief director, great guy, took the job. He's a pilot, interesting guy, academy grad, interesting background. He retired. He retired from the Coast Guard, and he was a pilot for American Airlines. And COVID hit, and American told him, either we'll lay you off or you can take military leave. So he took military leave, went back to headquarters, and they promoted him to captain. So we have a guy, very sharp guy, and he's going to be there for 4 years. That I'm confident about, because since he's on military leave, he's still accruing seniority for American. So it's like a win-win, and he loves the job. He loves the auxiliary. He always says that the auxiliary was what got him into the Coast Guard, because he was about to apply to the Air Force and Naval Academy, and he went to a flotilla meeting. He went to actually a boating safety course, and the flotilla members grabbed him and talked him into the academy. So that's a win. Another one. But what you folks did, it's just so inspiring. And I'm not one for quotes, but there's so many great quotes by President Kennedy that I like. And one was, he gave, it was about 60 years ago this summer. And it wasn't ask not what you could do. I think it might have been the same speech, but he said, we do these things because they're hard, not because they're easy. And he was talking about America's goal to put a man on the moon by the end of the decade. And that made me the auxiliary because he summed up your idea too, your drive. We do these things not because they're easy, but because they're hard, because it's the hard stuff that makes a difference. You know, we all want to serve, we want to make a difference. That's why we do this. You know, I joke when I joined, somebody dragged me to a flotilla meeting. You know, I came home from work early one day and my neighbor goes, "What are you doing?" I said, "Nothing." He goes, "Get in the car." I go, "Where are we going?" He goes, "Just shut up and get in the car." It's New York, it's socially acceptable, you know. So I got in the car. Next thing I know, I'm at a flotilla meeting, and I'm like, everybody's in uniforms, but I go, I was a pilot and I was a sailor. I go, this could be interesting. You know, let me give this a shot. You know, and I joined, and it was coxswain. I'm an aircraft commander, and I was having a blast. And at some point, you know, I raised my hand, and I was a vice flotilla commander, and I just kept moving up. And finally, I realized, you know, the auxiliary it let me fly, it let me drive boats, and the leadership was what I gave back to them. You know, and I've just come to appreciate it and love it really so much. And I'm so excited about it. And it's so great to be back. And this is not your father's auxiliary anymore. You know, we hear that old saying, but it is so true. You know, I joined in 2000. You know, RBS is mission number one. You know, their operations, public educations, you know, public affairs, all the legacy missions. But what we do now is so much more. You know, there's so many different missions. You know, it's everything from healthcare, cyber, clergy. I have to keep checking my list. Chaplains. Oh my God, you can't go to headquarters without them getting all excited about chaplains. Chaplains, the Coast Guard has 40 active duty Navy chaplains. As of 2 weeks ago, we have over 100 auxiliary chaplains. You can't see the Commandant without him thanking us for all the good work that they do. Investigations. Back about a year and a half ago, I was at headquarters and I was at a meeting, and a captain in prevention came up to me. He goes, "We have a problem." He goes, "You think the auxiliary could help?" I go, "Sure." He goes, "We have a situation they call the Mariner fraud investigation." You know, everybody knows how the Coast Guard licenses mariners. Well, there was a scandal, there was a fraud at one of their offices where they were selling the answers to the test. So people were getting, you know, captain's licenses and mates licenses, you know, without passing the test legitimately. Then they realized that that was a little cumbersome. You know, why make them take the test? Let's just give them the license, period. Now they know of 1,000 people that have done this, but they couldn't find them. They were looking, they didn't have the resources to find them. So they said, "Can you do this?" I go, "Sure." We have all the acronyms. We have CIA, FBI, police, detectives, you name it, we have it. So they go, "Okay, fine, let's get this going." So I assembled the team, and we're waiting. Then I go back to headquarters, and the captain goes, "We got a problem." I go, "What's that?" He goes, "It's Coast Guard illegal." I know what a pain in the neck lawyers could be, believe me. So I go, "What's the problem?" They go, "It's law enforcement." I go, "It's not law enforcement. It's administrative what we're going to do. We're not going to go arrest anybody." He goes, "Oh, no." He goes, "I'm sorry, but we can't do it." I go, "I have a meeting with the Commandant tomorrow. I'm going to talk to him." He goes, "Really?" I go, "Sure, why not? What's he going to do, fire me, dock my pay?" You know, so the next morning before the meeting, I see him in the hall. He goes, "Don't talk to the Commandant, maybe the Deputy Commandant." So, okay, so I went to Admiral Bushman. I told him, what a shock. You know, 3 days later, it's approved. So they gave us a list of 8 names Friday afternoon. Monday morning, we had all of them. Now I think we're up to about 75. Our team has located these people from Maine to Singapore. How did they do that when the Coast Guard can do this, when CGIS can do this, when their investigators can do this? Because the auxiliary has the experience and expertise in everything. Finally, I asked them, I go, "Do I want to know how you did this?" He goes, "Well, I don't know." I go, "All right, tell me." They put an ad in LinkedIn. And all these idiots responded with their resumes. "I'm a licensed Coast Guard captain." Amazing. You can't make this stuff up. And about 2 weeks ago, about a month ago, I got a call from the admiral in charge of CGIS. And he said, he goes, we need your help. He goes, you think it'd help? I go, sure, what can we do? And they investigate, they do background checks of all the active duty personnel that want to be CGIS agents. They go, can you do this? I go, sure, not a problem. I go, what gave you the idea to ask us to do this? He goes, Coast Guard legal. So that's just an example of the things that we're capable of doing and how much we have pushed the envelope and how much more we have demonstrated our value to active duty. And the whole atmosphere has changed. When I started this, when I was coming up the ranks, when I was a decap district commodore, it was always, going to active duty and say, what can we do for you? Oh, you do enough already. You guys do so much. Thank you very much. It's changed now. Now it's, so can you do this for us? Because they appreciate, what we bring to the table. And their challenges, you think we have challenges. Their challenges put us to shame. And the Coast Guard, they have tremendous challenges in recruiting and retention. Whatever we could do to help in recruiting and retention will be greatly appreciated. They need 2,000 new coasties in the next 10 years to staff all their new cutters, their new boats. They're not getting them. The coasties now, they do one tour at sea and they don't want to go back. Why? Some of the boats don't have Wi-Fi. Do you believe that? It's a big problem. They had to retrofit all the new cutters have it, but the old cutters, I'm not going on that boat. It doesn't have Wi-Fi. So a lot of challenges, but we're up to it, and this is a great time to be an auxiliarist because we do this to make a difference, and boy, can we make a difference now. So please keep up the hard work. Do those things that are hard. Semper Paratus.
Thank you very much, Commodore Politsky. And now we have for the PAC area, the Deputy National Commodore, Commodore Kirkwood.
Well, thank you, everybody, and good morning. As it's been said probably already 100 times this weekend, it's great to see you all. It's great to be in person and be seen, and we're finally, I think, coming out of this COVID thing. It's still around. We still are learning how to deal with it, but we're moving forward, and that's what's important. So welcome, everybody, and thank you for having me here. The board is the heart and the soul, really, of the auxiliary. You are the ones who keep your district running and afloat. Your DSOs are the subject matter experts. I encourage all the DSOs to work with the national directorates and make sure that you're attending meetings to find out what's going on at the directorate level, at the national level. I know that you all love what you do. It's very obvious that your district has come through COVID very, very well. Yesterday at your executive meeting, we heard from the DDCs and DCAPs about the different programs and what's going on. It's just tremendous that you've continued to sustain and continue to move forward despite the last 18 months, 2 years of the pandemic. So hats off to all of you for the work that you're doing and for inspiring and engaging your members to continue to keep moving. We know that there are people who are members that are still not comfortable being in groups, being on the water, being in public education classes, but eventually they will come out. They will emerge at their own pace. And so I encourage you to embrace that when they do come back, and just make sure that there's something for them to feel good about when they come back. Some of the things that are happening at national, we'll talk a little bit more about this evening when we do some more talks this evening. But one of the ones I want to talk about that's new to the response program is artificial intelligence program. It's a project that we're doing for the active duty. And we're still looking for members who might be interested in this. So what it is, it's a series of, it's a computer work. It's sitting down. And for some of our members, sitting at a computer for 3 or 4 hours a day is probably what they want to do, right? Boat and surface ops and stuff isn't for everybody, but there is something for everyone. And this might be something for one of your members in your flotillas that isn't really active, but likes doing computer work. So it's sitting at your computer, and the Coast Guard aviation group has these little 6-second segments of video, that they are taking pictures of things in the water. And like TSA, where your bags go through on this conveyor belt and they're looking to see, you know, this looks like a gun, this looks like a whatever. That's what you're going to be doing. That's what this people do as well. Is this a stand-up paddleboarder? Is it somebody who looks suspicious? And so it's trying to teach the computer to be able to identify certain things. So for example, the computer knows what a person should look like. But if they take a picture of somebody and they're standing at the gunnel, and so all they see is, you know, from the waist up, the computer's not going to recognize that as a person unless we tell it that's a person, right? Or they're standing next to, for example, a fire extinguisher, and that fire extinguisher is not part of what looks like a human. It will not say that's a human. So what our members are doing, going in and teaching the computer what these things are. So eventually it will automatically, the program will automatically recognize it. So if you're interested, let me know. We're still looking for some members. We originally had, I think, 50 members. We've got about 30 members now. So we're always looking for a few more. But again, I want to thank everybody for being here. I want to thank, are there flotilla commanders in the room? A few flotilla commanders, good. How about staff officers, district staff officers, flotilla staff officers? Thank you very much for keeping our programs alive. And you know, you've heard the boating stats where 2020 was a horrible year. Last night we heard from Oregon that the Oregon in 2020 had 29 deaths, the highest number in 40 years. It's significant because we were not on the water. We were not doing public education so much. We were not going to do marine dealer visits. We weren't at boat shows. And so there's a direct correlation between the boating accidents and deaths and the activities of the auxiliary. We don't have the 21 stats yet, or at least I've not seen them, but we all expect them to be down because we were partially at least out there. And then this year, I'm hoping that we'll be back to normal with a really decline in our deaths and accidents. So as the boating sales went up in 2020, right? What else could you do? You could go buy a boat. You could be out on the water by yourself and not be around people. Our accidents and deaths also went up. And the key factor there was boating education, right? People weren't educated. They just bought a boat. You can go to Walmart, buy a boat, and be out on the water the same afternoon with no experience. And so it's really important. This is why recreational boating safety continues to be our #1 job in the auxiliary. And just about everything focuses on that. You say, well, I do boat crew. I'm not really RBS. No, you're out there on the water. #1, being seen. #2, checking on people who look like they're having trouble. You may be educating when somebody stops by and says, who are you? And you're having lunch and you educate them about boating safety classes. So everything we do is around recreational boating safety. So again, thank you for being here. Thank you for inviting me. It's my second D train since I became NACO. I was at 11 South a couple of weeks ago, which was fun. Their focus last 2 weeks ago at 11 South was really on fellowship. And that's what we've all missed the last 2 years. I mean, you could do some fellowship via Zoom. And I know some people had virtual cocktail parties or, you know, all those. It's just not the same. So I encourage you to be around people this weekend and get to know people and reconnect and get that enthusiasm going again for being auxiliarist. Remember back on why you joined, and let's move forward and go into 2022 with blazing stars. So thank you again for your time.
Thank you, Commodore Kirkwood. And it was interesting because I saw when Mary came in, I think the people just go back and forth between District 11 and District 13. So it's always good. And by the way, Mary Ann last night said 21 on the fatalities were 19. So they were going down, but we still hadn't been out there like we should. So that is, hopefully this year it makes a difference because we're out there a bunch more and we're starting in-person public education classes too, which I think will make a lot of difference. But without further ado, our DIROCs and our operations training officer, amongst other positions and hats, is wrapped up into one. Chief Warrant Officer Robinson.
Thank you, Commodore.
Yes, sir.
The National Commodore just said I had to give 3 speeches, but I'm not going to do that. So, good morning. Thank you all for having me here, D13. A few years back, we had a sector commander, and he liked to use the phrase rock star, and I think that's applicable today. You guys are a bunch of rock stars. Thank you for your diligence, your perseverance, your dedication through the last 2 years. It's fantastic to be able to be here in person. I have to admit, I'm even a little uncomfortable with it. I'm like, sometimes people are getting close to me and I'm like, well, this is weird. But it's good. It's a good weird, if that's such a thing. I don't know. Again, I don't want to, spend too much of your time this morning, but District 13 has been fantastic. We've met the challenge of this. We've this pandemic. I think we helped create a lot of the policy or ways to move forward and to get through it and to still provide services to the boating public. And that's all on you. You all did that and your leadership. And so thank you very much for working with your leadership. It makes my job easier. I wouldn't be able to do this without the good leadership and the feedback that you are providing and the ideas that you're providing to your leadership. So thank you very much for that. I will tell you, so obviously in this organization, there's always a lot of change out, especially on the gold side. We have a new director that will be coming in, and he'll be coming in around the middle of June. We also have a new yeoman that will be coming in. The new director that will be coming in, he's coming off of one of the icebreakers. And so he'll be coming in. He comes in with I don't know the exact amount of sea time, but he's coming in with quite a lot of sea time. He's a sailor. And I actually know him. I don't know if he remembers me or not, but when I made warrant officer back in 2007, back then, when you were new selectee as a warrant, we got the short list. And so my short list consisted of 11 jobs, 7 of them were 378s. And so I was number 4 on the list. So I was like, I think a 378 is going to be in my future. And I ended up going to a 378, and Mr. Jansen, who's going to be Commander Jansen, who's going to be our new director, he was an ensign when I was there. So I stood watch with him, and I look forward to working with him this summer. And then our YN1 that's coming, she's coming from the recruiting office out of Vancouver. So if you want to get to know her, anybody that lives nearby, you can go bother her. So, but her name is Molly. And so she will be coming in the middle of June as well. And other than that, if there's, I know there's a lot of people are going to hit me up, or have been, about offer for uses, things of that nature, personal protective equipment. I'm available. I'm there. Just bear with me. I'm just, like I said, I'm filling 3 hats. So it's just one of those things where I'll get it to you. We're going to keep you operational, and we'll keep you up and running. And I'm just very happy because I was able to actually, it looks like, successfully complete orders for everybody. So that needed orders to come here. So it's a work in progress, and thank you very much for your patience. I appreciate it. And that's all I have for you today. Well, actually, I'm going to have some, closing remarks. I'm on the agenda for that too. So
Yes, sir.
I can figure out what I'm going to say for that. So thank you.
I'll tell you a little secret, okay? When we were at N-Train, they were talking about with this new finance system, okay? About they had put a task force together and put an admiral in charge of it. And the bosun here working by himself with some yeomen, within about 8 days or something like that, had figured out a way to put together our orders. So I think they put the wrong person in charge of the other one, okay? That's my main thing. But but now I'd like to introduce our Chief of Staff, Mr. Kinley.
Well, good morning. I had the privilege of hearing the Commandant of the United States Coast Guard here, Admiral Carl Schultz, at the recent N-Train in St. Louis. And by the way, if you haven't heard those remarks, I think they're still available on YouTube. Take the time to do it. It'll be really worth your while. I'd like to take a couple words from the Commandant's speech. He started talking about that it really hasn't been an easy time for any organization, and I think we can all relate to that. But he said the auxiliary, which he referred to a number of times as a world-class organization, the auxiliary has shown a lot of resilience and survival. And those words really rang true to me. I think they especially apply to District 13. And I believe we survived because of the resilience of the people in this room. And because of your efforts, I can truly say I'm very proud to be a member of the United States Coast Guard Auxiliary. And it's an honor to serve you as Chief of Staff. My definition of resilience, the one I think that applies to the auxiliary, is the ability to recover from or adjust easily to difficulties. And in addition to resilience, a word we've heard knocked around a lot this last couple of years is flexibility. And I think flexibility and resilience goes hand in hand. Our ability to recover and be successful may well mean that we have to make some course corrections to the way we have been doing things. So what does resilience and flexibility mean for us? I think as auxiliaries, we need to be concentrating on our goals as an organization, finding the innovative ways of meeting those goals and avoiding obstacles to getting things done. Pretty simple, maybe not that easy to do, but it means to be positive and to concentrate on what we can do and not fixate on what we can't or what is more difficult to do given the circumstances. I'm really looking forward to this year's activities, boy, and I hope you are too. Opening day and National Safe Boating Week's just around the corner, and I believe we'll be getting out and doing the really important work and the fun work that we've missed in the last couple of years. I know Rose Fest, Seafair, Columbia Cup, I think they're all a go now. So we're going to have some work to do. So in addition to my big thank you to you this morning, I'll leave you with a short message. If you haven't started your preparation for this season, you better start now because it's going to come at us fast and furious. Make your plans, get your members lined up and ready, promote your PE classes, schedule your vessel safety checks, events, operation missions, start working with your local municipalities on proclamations and activities. I think where your life jacket at work day is May 20th, so it's going to kick off National Safe Boating Week, so let's do it with a bang. My challenge to you, as well as myself, is to be one of the doers. Put the last couple of years in the past and focus on the needs of the future. This may mean putting some new or innovative plans into action, but we have such incredibly smart, talented people in this organization. As far as I'm concerned, the sky is the limit. And these talented folks, we're just going to have to see how high we can go. We have a lot to do in this boating season. Let's serve the world's best Coast Guard and the recreational boating public and give it our very best. Thank you.
All right, thanks very much, Dan. And You know, I always say that the lifeblood and where the work's done is down at the flotilla and division levels. And if we didn't have that, because we don't have staff officers without them being a member. And one of my things is someday that's where I'll be back again, is being a member. All right. And so when I think as these guys do, is how can you motivate and keep your people doing? In most cases, we don't motivate our people, they motivate us. And that's the honest truth, is they are doing the work and they want to do the work. And that's the reason it's really made my heart just go big like crazy, is seeing everybody here and seeing the smiling and seeing the just wanting to be out and doing things. So with this, what I'm going to do now, instead of me getting up and down every time we finish, we're going to start with Division 1. As a division commander, when you finish, start going back, then we'll go to the next one, Division 2, and we'll go Division 1, 2, 4, and 5, and then we'll come back over here and start with Neil. We'll start with you representing 3, and then the same thing down the line. Thanks.
Good morning. And I'd like to welcome Commodores Molesky and Kirkwood, and thank you, Commodore Singler, as well as our OTO and acting Dirox for attendance today. And I wanted to say good morning to the rest of my auxiliary family. It's so great to see everyone. Thank you for allowing me to present a report on the activities of District 13's First Division, better known as our 4th Pillar Division. And might I lead off by saying just how much of a wonderful opportunity this is to present to you in person for the first time in over 2 years. I want to acknowledge the important symbolism of this event, and this in-person event, and the significance of it in our journey to what is going to be our new reality. We've heard constant references to the pandemic this morning and its impact on our organization, its members, and our activities in support of recreational boater safety and the US Coast Guard. It's simply a fact. We have endured, and indeed we will continue to endure, the effects of this pandemic for a long time to come. That being said, I am extremely proud and pleased to report that the 1st Division has weathered the storm, persevered in its mission, and will continue to bring value to the table in pursuit of the Greater Coast Guard's mission and objectives. I've heard comments regarding the pandemic's effect on the membership of the auxiliary and the loss of members. True, there have been members that chose to leave. But more importantly, we in the 1st Division have continued to see interest in joining our ranks. I would posit that this environment has actually encouraged some people to think critically about how they can make a difference in their communities, and it has brought them to our doorstep. I hold up as an example Flotilla 1-8, who have recruited 6 new members and have seen a resultant net increase in their membership by 17% in the last 6 months. And they have 3 more people on the hook, all being processed at this time. People want to participate. We just need to show them the opportunities. Delivery of our primary mission, recreational boater safety, has continued to be a hallmark of Division 1's performance since my last report. All flotillas have been actively planning their 2022 classes and build on their 2021 achievements. Flotilla 1-1 last year completed 7 Boat America classes, delivering the boater safety message to 108 students. Flotilla 1-2 is leading the charge in 2022 with their innovative delivery of courses such as the 9-week-long Weekend Navigator course. This course began in February with 73 participants, including 4 auxiliarists from as far and wide as Alaska, Michigan, Wisconsin, and Oregon. Kudos to auxiliarist Linda Lewis for her leadership of this class. Flotilla 1-8, not to be outdone, is starting a boater safety class in 2 weeks' time after having worked to double its number of qualified instructors in the flotilla, which provides the perfect segue. While we've been delivering newfound knowledge to the boating public, the First Division has not forgotten about the development of our members. Flotilla 1-2 recently held a Zoom slam, a wonderful term, where they assisted many of their members to complete their core training classes with a marathon virtual session. Members from all flotillas participated in the virtual TCT refresher and operational workshops. And here's something I'm extremely pleased to see. Perhaps the silver lining of the pandemic, the use of the online collaboration tools such as Zoom meant flotillas were able to offer their opportunity for members of their sister units to participate in the training, resulting in a cross-fertilization of ideas amongst our flotillas. The virtual risk management training conducted by Flotilla 1-2 had over 40 participants from across the district. And in addition, the division has also had 6 new TCOs or telecommunications operators qualify in the same period. And while classroom training is critical, physical real-world training is also essential. And in the reporting period, Flotilla 1-2 and 1-8 conducted boat crew and coxswain training. Flotilla 1-2 has also conducted significant training with active duty units, including Station Seattle and Air Station Port Angeles. And not to be outdone, Flotilla 1-8 is also engaged in a new partnership with a local cetacean research organisation, Reed Wales, with NOAA to provide towing capability when dealing with the disposal of dead whales in the North Puget Sound. And lastly, I want to acknowledge the efforts of the division's members in their support to the active duty personnel. A new culinary assistant was recently trained and then spent the week on the cutter Healy. Flotilla 1-1 has also continued with their sterling support of Station Bellingham and the cutters Sea Lion and Terrapin, with the serving of meals to the watchstanders and crews over Thanksgiving, Christmas Eve and Christmas, and many other times throughout the year. This list is not exhaustive, and I could probably go on, but I've tried to highlight some of the more prominent activities of Division 1 in the reporting period, and I'm confident that we'll continue to provide great value to the US Coast Guard and the American boating public into the future. Thanks.
Great job.
Division 2, which consists of 3 flotillas with a total of 103 members operating in the Metro Seattle area, has kicked off the year with flourish. We're guided by the adopted 2022 Division Strategic Plan, which spells out 3 broad principles: integration, collaboration, and synergy is the first, quantifying goals and accountability is the second, and commitment to an expansion of the current mission areas. This plan, which we developed in an all-hands meeting in December and adopted at the January Division Board and Staff meeting, is really making the focus clear regarding the who, what, when, and where, and empowering our staff officers to recruit and deploy resources and to develop the how. Speaking of staff, the division is fully staffed with the exception of a Secretary of Records, and everyone is doing a phenomenal job. We have drawn our staff officers from those flotillas which have taken the lead in specific mission areas. Flotilla 22 leads us in public education, operations, the Ox Scout program, publications, and public affairs. Flotilla 24 leads us in vessel examinations, program visitations, and culinary assistance. And Flotilla 25 has taken the lead on communications and diversity. The year started out with a hybrid change of watch, which by all accounts went very well. We then went into staffing the only recreational boating safety-related booth at the Seattle Boat Show with quite some support from the surrounding divisions. We continued working with the 12 instructor trainees from our fall-winter class, getting them qualified to support our public education program, which launched with a March virtual Boating America class offering. And then in April, we have a class that's finishing up today as we speak. And we have 3 more already scheduled, with one in June, specifically for Sea Scouts, their leaders and families, and that one will be in person. Mentioning Sea Scouts, we continue to support the Bellevue Sea Scout ship Argo with 3 of our members serving as adult leaders, mates. All 3 have earned the prestigious Sea Badge Award. Our division is also supporting the active duty from Station Seattle in a second Safety at Sea event for the Scouts to be held at the base on 21 May. 1/5 of the division's membership has already completed the required BSA youth protection training, and quite a few more have passed other training requirements as well. The Sea Scouts supported us in January by offering their Seattle-based propeller to serve as a platform for an aids to verification patrol in Elliott Bay and on the Duwamish River. That's just one example of integration, collaboration, and synergy. The boat show was another, and we are delighted to be afforded opportunities with Division 1 for operations patrols and building our crew capacity. We've reached out to Division 3 to offer our assistance in vessel examination events at marinas and yacht clubs in their AOR. And we are especially delighted with the collaboration that's developing with Division 4 across the Sound. Jared and I attend each other's meetings, learning from one another and sharing opportunities within our divisions to serve. For example, we've been invited to help staff the vessel examination day at Gig Harbor, and they have been invited to all our trainings. Members from other divisions have also been welcome to and benefited from the various workshops we are hosting this year. Completed so far are the vessel examiner workshop, operations workshop, and instructor workshop. At the end of the month, we are hosting the risk management TCT workshop, and thereafter the telecommunications operator workshop. Vessel exams are also well underway. We have already done 1 VE event, and 2 more VE days will happen later this month. In the course of this, we've already qualified 1 new examiner. Our operations program kicks off May 7th, opening day, with 2 of our facilities assisting with safety patrols. That will be followed by our supportive seafair. In the meantime, we're working on marine observations missions to backfill for the reduced presence of the budget-constrained Seattle Harbor Patrol. We are developing a marine environmental protection program within the division led by one of our members who also works as a spill responder in the Department of Ecology. Our first of several beach cleanup days happens mid-May, and Sea Scouts have been invited to work with us side by side. In the realm of marine safety, we already have 3 events scheduled where we put up safety booths and offer ramp site vessel exams. We very much value fellowship. Each of these events offers opportunities for us to connect face-to-face with our fellow members, but we also have picnics and a rendezvous planned for late spring. As you can see, we are very busy, but having a plan makes it very easy. And I think it's also having a positive effect on the flotillas. With Jeff Hunter, immediate past division commander, taking the helm of Flotilla 25 and a bunch of new members, that unit is much revived. Flotilla 24, under Jim Enborn's watchful eye, shows us monthly how well things can be managed and communicated. And Larry Blackstock at Flotilla 22 is leveraging his years in television to bring some serious talent to special events, such as a recent Puget Sound weather program given by former King 5 meteorologist Jeff Renner. In terms of issues we're experiencing, easy reports. Getting them filed continues to be a challenge, but we're seeing significant increase in compliance. These reports are invaluable to the Flotilla Bridges, Vice Division Commander Dale Vodica and me in terms of bragging about what we're getting done, but also in identifying areas where we need to give much more attention. The plan. It's an issue for some. It has set aggressive goals, and there's accountability. And as a result, leaving little room for complacency. Some are feeling overwhelmed by its relentless driving. And engagement with Sea Scout youth. The district guidance, which allows engagement with adult leaders only at the first level, and then to qualify to engage with youth, demands preparedness to charter ships, bring in 14 to 7-year-olds into our membership, both of which our division is not contemplating anytime soon. But that's all bundled with allowing us to engage directly with the youth. I believe we have demonstrated our earnestness and support of the program and our capabilities to strengthen their programs while benefiting from their resources and their enthusiasm. However, we continue to find other ways to afford engagement. We are hopeful that district policies could be reviewed and revised to allow a level of engagement with the youth that does not require us to fully be prepared for chartering on a ship or youth membership in the auxiliary. It's been a great year so far, and it's going to be amazing. Thank you.
Good morning, y'all. I'm Jared Ellers. I'm the division commander here, and for Division 4, we are the Olympic Peninsula. So we consist of 6 flotillas, basically on the west side of the Puget Sound. My members will not be surprised by this, but I took my orders kind of through the word, so I wasn't quite prepared to elaborate on a lot of this stuff, but so I'm going to ad-lib a little bit here. So coming into 2022, goal-wise, I set kind of a very high-level generic goal for the division. Quite simply, it could be stated as get us back operational again. You know, the last 2 years, our division has been pretty not a lot of activity going on, especially on the water. And I really wanted to get us back active again this year. Also, the operational term is kind of generic because I kind of made that so not only it was on the water activities, but also, the emphasis was put on the water activities, but I also wanted to make sure to foster cross flotilla and divisional partnerships in development and resource sharing. Like many flotillas and many divisions across the area, we have lots of strengths in certain areas, like maybe a bunch of facilities, but not so many coxswains. We have a lot of boat crew people, but you know, they're all spread out geographically across the area. One of the things that I wanted to do was develop partnerships like with, Klaus and I have been working back and forwards to develop these relationships and resource sharing so we can better facilitate our mission of recreational boat safety. Another focus for the goals this year for the flotilla was basically getting our members out of RUIR or out of required workshop statuses. We have a lot of people who the last couple of years, because of the lack of activities, are falling behind on their hours. So that's one thing I wanted to make sure that we continue working forward and getting those people out of those statuses so they can participate again. Accomplishments. Last year, we actually did accomplish quite a bit in our division. In 2021, we did 349 program visits. We did 4 facility inspections, 222 vessel safety checks, 13 paddlecraft inspections, as well as 378 hours of recorded operational hours. In addition, and I really got to put props to several of my flotillas for taking the initiative on this. Several of our flotillas have been actively working with our Port Angeles boat and air station and boat station up there in Port Angeles. They have been helping out in many different ways, including helping with their security systems, the surveillance system up there, the video system, welding. We have people also helping with installation of a heat pump system up there. I want to give props to those members who are doing those things that are kind of outside what we normally would figure that the auxiliary would do. I am happy to report that our membership numbers have actually remained fairly stable even throughout the pandemic for our division. We have lost some members. Some members have retired out, but I specifically want to call out Flotilla 41 for their very targeted recruiting that they did last year. They recruited, I don't have that number right. 7, if I remember correctly, they recruited 7 new members last year alone. And on top of that, they have a very aggressive member training program, and they got all their members into BQ status in very quick fashion. The other accomplishment I want to also bring up is that, and something I've tried to elicit into my flotilla commanders, is thinking outside the box. We have a flotilla commander in 48, Dean Alexander. He has been reaching out on paddlecraft sites and putting the advertising the if found stickers. To date, the last number I got from him was over 5,000 stickers that he sent out all over the nation, and it keeps him very busy. That's the type of high impact thing that I want my members to think outside the box on and make an impact. Challenges are going to be very similar to a lot of us. Membership has been slow to re-engage after COVID. That's causing some issues of getting the operations back on track. In addition, our flotillas and divisions are having somewhat issues filling some of their open offices, but we continue to work on that. Lastly, we are a fairly widely dispersed geographical division. And one of the problems we have is we have lots of assets spread out all over the place, but not in a central area. So that's where that cross flotilla coordination starts coming into play here again, because if the flotillas are siloed, there's not enough facilities or people or coxswains to man those vessels. Overall, 2022 is looking up. We have challenges, but I have a great staff. I have a great board who's been extremely supportive for me. And I appreciate everything they've done. I appreciate everything my members have done. And I appreciate you all coming here today and allowing me to present. Thank you.
Great job.
Man, it's great to be back in person. I'll tell you, it's really good to be back. I'd like to give a special thank you to Colonel Molesky for painting a picture of standing up with no pants on. That's going to stay with me for a while, I think. So appreciate that. Division 5 is the southernmost division of the district and is comprised of 6 flotillas and 1 detachment. We've got 119 first-class members and currently fall under the jurisdiction of North Bend, Sector North Bend. I'm not sure how long that's going to last, but we'll see. Geographically, the division runs down the coast from above Depot Bay to the California border and inland to Grants Pass and Eugene. We serve 5 stations with direct operation support, food services, SAR-VEST maintenance, watch standing, and communications, in addition to our RBS duties of vessel safety checks, and program visits, as well as a service to those veterans and spouses who have passed. We provide burials at sea. We are a blue water flotilla, or a blue water division, and most of the time we're out in the ocean. We do have lakes and river support, but that's where we make our big bucks out there. The Division 5 is coming back from the pandemic hiatus in a big way. Almost all the flotillas are now conducting in-person meetings. We have supported 3 public boat shows, which put the auxiliary in front of thousands of attendees. We have committed to no less than 3 parades and at least 2 regattas. We will be providing safety zone support for the 4th of July activities. We are providing boating safety as well as navigation and chart reading courses to the public, which have been enthusiastically received. All our classes, at least down in flotilla level, has been really waiting room only. And so that's really good. To date, we have logged 371 VSCs, and those are the folks who have actually entered them into AUX data. I need to get on their case to get them. So we've probably had twice that number. And we're well on our way to exceeding last year's total. We're beginning to get back on the water with 94 surface operation hours. So that's good. While we are certainly a force multiplier to the goal side, our primary emphasis is recreational boating safety. And as I have said before, I would love the auxiliary to relieve them, the goal side, of that duty.
Thanks very much, Steve.
Well, good morning, everyone. Our division commander and vice commander regret that they're unable to make it today due to family and work requirements, so it is my pleasure to stand in for them as one of our division's 3 flotilla commanders. Division 3 is first and foremost, as we have heard from everyone else, implementing our reconstitution this year after resuming our activities from coming out of the pandemic. And our focus is on requalifying and reconstituting missions with an emphasis on administrative procedures to follow as activities get stood back up. Many of our members completed core training at approximately the same time, which means that we have a wave of folks who are needing to complete it again. So one of our active member training missions is ensuring that all members don't fall behind on the basics of our job. We've been updating our division emergency management plan to include the lessons learned from the COVID-19 pandemic, including establishing calling trees and the ability to stay in touch with members, including those who don't regularly attend flotilla meetings. As we all know, there are a few of them, to make sure that everyone is doing well, staying healthy, and seeing those points that we can help re-engage members. We've had, as we have also heard, enhanced recruiting activity, with all flotillas having at least bites, and 2 of our flotillas I know gaining members so far in 2022. In terms of our planned activities, the division will be partnering with the City of Tacoma to participate in Litter Free 253, which is our area code for our phone, citywide cleanup event next Saturday. This is a division-wide supported event because one of the things we do to support cross-pollination between our divisions, or between our flotillas, is to designate certain events that have a more regional impact as a division-supported event and send out the call to all members. I'm pleased to say that we do have members from all 3 flotillas who are going to be supporting that. In addition, we have major plans regarding National Safe Boating Week coming up next month with my flotilla leading the way on that. We are planning 4 events at this time, including a Public Affairs Day at Bass Pro Shops in Tacoma, Narrows Marina VSC Day in Tacoma, Gig Harbor Maritime Festival, which we're supporting in coordination with Division 4, as well as a VSC today at Foss Harbor Marina. Flotilla 38 is planning to set up a boating safety exhibit at the Spring Fair in Puyallup coming up next month. And they are also increasing their distribution of materials that relate to paddle responsibility. We've had increased recreational boating safety activities, particularly in vessel safety checks and program visitations, with flotillas qualifying new members. Speaking for my own, we have already qualified 2 new vessel examiners this year alone. We have, in fact, had to dip into the division reserve of VSC stickers already to support both flotillas 33 and 32 because they're running out already. So clearly the public is ready, willing, and wanting our services again. Those are our talking points for the day, and thank you very much.
Great job.
Good morning, shipmates. Thank you for being here this morning. Commodores, Dyrox, thank you as well. So Division 6 is comprised of 3 flotillas, flotillas 62, 63, and 66. And we extend from Grace Harbor through Cape Disappointment Tillamook, and McMinnville. As you noted during our crossing of the bar, we have lost probably enough members to create a small detachment, if not almost a small flotilla. But regarding with that, Flotilla 62 in particular has provided operational support for the active duty in many fashions. Number one, by providing a dentist, very important. So we had an active duty captain, Captain Bill Stenberg, retired from the Coast Guard at Sector Columbia River and became a three bar level auxiliarist doing the same job. So he lost a little bit of pay, unfortunately. But he still loves doing what he's doing. So thank you, Bill. Appreciate it very much. Watch standing at Grace Harbor has been extensive. It has been ongoing now for a couple of years. And thank you to Ray Latham. I can't tell you how many miles and how many hours Ray has put in providing that assistance to those people. They would be lost without him. Ongoing maintenance and construction repair at Cape Disappointment has been probably the hallmark of our activity at that station, provided by many people, but led primarily by Marcus Smith. Those people that I'd like to mention that participated in that would be Dennis Forrest, Sally Keys, Lee LaFollette, Ray Latham again, John Lester, both Gary and Elena Rigatini, and Della Wilson. I'm hoping I'm not leaving anybody out because so many people put in so many strong, hard working hours there. We also have participated in the Buoy 10, and we will be participating again in the Buoy 10 ramp duty on the water patrols during that time period. That was begun back in 2002 with a loss of 7 lives on the Columbia River Bar. And thanks to Captain Lynn, I forget his name suddenly there, Trembello. Lynn was the response chief at that time. And he said, I never want that to occur again. So he talked the active duty and the auxiliary in that area to patrol and to do boat duty ramp. And since that time period, we have not lost one recreational vessel. We have lost a couple of UPVs, but not one recreational. So we'd like to maintain that in the future here. We also participate in Rose Festival. Division 6 will this year provide approximately 4 boats to assist Division 7 in that endeavor. We enjoy doing that, and that includes make way with the Navy ships. Our commercial fishing vessel and AMSI instructor, Dan Carey, has provided countless hours and I know has prevented many losses of life on the sea regarding that. Members who provided information input into computers at both KD and Sector Columbia River, I'd like to thank Sally Keys and Della Wilson for their work there. Again, they have provided that work which helps relieve the duty of those folks at those stations. Flotilla 62 has also provided a crew academy for the area. So we've had members from Divisions 5, 6, and 7. And I'd like to thank those members from Division 7 who have driven all the way to the Cape to participate in that affair. Lee LaFollette has provided leadership on many PA events on the Long Beach Peninsula, and that will continue on. Thank you very much, Lee. We will be participating coming up here in an active shooter exercise at Sector Columbia River. That will occur this month. And also the Loyalty Day Parade on the Long Beach Peninsula. It's important because our presence there will be significant this year. We'll have 2 vessels and I believe it's 3 vehicles plus the active duty Coast Guard. So that puts us on the spotlight. People see us out there and they come to us and we're hoping that it's going to be a recruitment tool. We think that will work very well. I'd like to thank Mr. Dean Weimer for his input in the awards participation with Division 6. He has provided countless information and award aspects for all of us. Thank you, Dean. And again, Flotilla 63, I can't say enough about Jerry Ostermiller. Thank you, Jerry, for returning to our division Jerry will be doing special projects at Sector Columbia River that will be of great service to the active duty. Also, with Flotilla 63, we were presented this year with the Golden Quill Award, I should say Division 6, but our Flotilla 63 participant in that, I can't say enough about Cammie Hickman. So Cammie did an absolutely fantastic job with our flag hoist, and we will forever be thankful to her. So again, thank you to the leadership of the division for what they have done. Again, James Blaylock for stepping up with Flotilla 66. Diane and Matt Epstein, thank you very much for your hard work. I know we're still in a building phase, but we are getting there. Can't say enough about Sheila Lang, our finance officer. Be absolutely lost without Sheila. So those are the good points. I do have a couple of points that I guess we call them 3 ups and 3 downs. I've changed this around a little bit from what I wrote. I really think that our 3 downs, the primary 3 downs, and then I'll end with that, is that our challenge is to re-engage the general membership. We've engaged for the most part in Division 6, the staff members and the leadership. We've got to find a way to re-engage the general membership, get them back interested in it. It's going to be a slow process, but it is ongoing. Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir.
Good morning.
Morning.
Thank you. I have to apologize at the front end. I thought I was giving this report later in the day, and I did not have all my copies yet. So I had to kind of rush in and get copies, and it was worded for later in the day. I would like to thank Commodore Singler and District Chief of Staff and everybody who put this conference together as we are recovering from the effects of the pandemic. It's nice to be in person. My name is John Mackey, and I'm fortunate to be the division commander for Division 7 after an interim election in late January. I live in the Portland metro area and have been in the auxiliary since 2010. In my personal life, I'm the father of 3 children and husband to a wonderful, supportive wife, Ekaterina. The other parts of my life include employment as a broadcast engineer in radio and television, being a radioman in the U.S. Navy for 23 years, amateur radio, and a former state licensed foster parent. Division 7 has 143 members and 5 flotillas. Our primary goals in the division are supporting the flotilla's needs for promoting water safety, education, and related activities. Training needs of members have been a recent focus that we are flexing to meet, mostly in areas of vessel examinations and program visits. We have Rose Festival occurring in June, which will receive significant support from Divisions 6 and 7. This is primarily being coordinated by Ron Hilberger. Division 7 also has a public affairs activity with the Hillsborough Air Show this summer, which we hope will be a good recruiting activity. We had recent success with the public affairs of the Portland Boat Show and the Sportsman Show. Regarding flotillas, I asked each flotilla commander to respond with a brief summary. Nancy McCready was 7-1. COVID was a setback, as well as recently losing 2 good members. Now moving ahead and taking classes to keep abreast of the latest information. Jim Fensky was 7-3. 462 vessel safety exams were completed in 2021. 35 to 40 vessel exams have been completed so far this year. Mary Shuck was 7-6. 2020 to present, 139 vessel exams, 271 operational hours, 722 marine safety hours. Linda McCarty was 7-8. In the past 2 years, the flotilla taught 11 PE classes, graduating 79 safe boaters and 456 vessel exams. Pat Wolcott was 7-12. 1 member served aboard 2 cutters, providing operational support for a total of 217 days, with 144 days at sea. While all that's good, there's always areas you wish you would improve in or make better. in those areas for us would be easy reports and to re-engage overall activity. This was not a complete list, but summarizing significant points in an effort for an efficient presentation at this time. This year, Division 7 got off to a rough start with the new division commander unexpectedly resigning from the auxiliary on January 31 with only a one-day notice. Things are quickly coming together. I am grateful for DCAP Kevin Thiel for his guidance, along with Commodore Darren Lewis for mentorship, and my Vice Division Commander Robert Meagle, who is a wise partner in division leadership. I thank you all, and I thank other people that I haven't mentioned, such as district leadership. I'm especially thankful for the patient and dedicated members of Division 7. Thank you all for your time.
Great job.
Good morning. Division 8 is comprised of 67 volunteers in 5 flotillas from the eastern Washington areas of the Tri-Cities, Spokane Valley, and Yakima, and the northern Idaho areas of Coeur d'Alene and Sandpoint. Due to our inland location, our boating season runs basically from Labor Day to Memorial Day. So we have 3 months to try to do what you guys get to do in 12. And we still have ice on some of our waters up there. Despite the challenges of working with COVID-19 protocols and restrictions during 2021, including the delayed start to the boating season, the flotillas performed very well. Our many achievements and activities include a virtual division-wide boat crew academy for new boat crew members. We provided regatta and mom support to both Columbia River and Sector Puget Sound on a number of missions. We conducted 417 program visits and 196 vessel exams in that 3-month period, starting with the National Safe Boating Week and continuing through Memorial Day. Additionally, we're very proud to have an Auxiliarist of the Month for our district that came from our division this year. The number one issue facing the division this season going forward is the ongoing COVID-19 and auxiliary protocols that are imposed as a result. In many cases, these protocols conflict with local regulations and political direction. As stated earlier, the division operating area is Eastern Washington and North Idaho, areas that encountered a far different experience with COVID than our coastal neighbors. In fact, Idaho never shut down, which then allowed all the Washingtonians and Oregons and Montanans to come visit us and bring their COVID with them. Okay. This coupled with the recent vaccination requirements that were imposed by the auxiliary has led to operational challenges, contributed to a reduction in membership and increased complexity. Our division was hit particularly hard by the vaccination requirements. It's become difficult to reinstate in-person division and flotilla meetings as members have become accustomed to meeting virtually. Many of them are not vaccinated, and as a result, we're having to continue to do so. In fact, the division's most active flotilla last year has only 1 vaccinated member this year. So we led the the flotilla that led our operations is basically sidelined at this point. We have another flotilla that only has 2 vaccinated members. But on a good note, we have 1 flotilla that has all but 1 member vaccinated. So it's kind of a mixed boat there in Northern Idaho. On a favorable note, several division members have utilized the virtual ability to obtain their OXOP status. They've also used the virtual abilities to become certified as instructors, vessel examiners, program visitors, and TCOs. In fact, it was a number of our unvaccinated members that have obtained these competencies, which is a good sign going forward because it means that they want to continue to serve and they're just waiting to see what's going to happen as far as being able to be active in-person, face-to-face stuff. As for goals, it'd be the retention of the existing members and of course, growing the membership. This would be accomplished through encouraging the active members, re-engaging the complacent members, and going out into the public with our vaccinated members. Thank you.
You know, the one thing I want to add to that, everyone, okay, and thank you, Doug, is that what an auxiliary demand put on us about not being vaccinated? Oh, that's fine. They can hear me.
It's fine.
We can hear me. This was a thing put on by the commandant through the BSX, okay? So, and I hate seeing it because there's some great people there, but I want everybody to understand, this is not something that national leadership put on us. This is not something that district put on. And until the Commandant of the United States, through the BSX, puts something else to us, and they are working on it, and hopefully there's something, but it hurts all of us. Okay, my flotilla. I've got an individual, just like anybody else that's not vaccinated, that was very productive. But as our pledge says, when we do our pledge, we pledge allegiance to the Commandant of the United States Coast Guard, and that's the policy that we have to live by. Just wanted to add that so that we're all in line here. It's not an auxiliary deal. All right, Scott.
Well, good morning. It's really an honor to be here. This is the first conference I've ever attended, so this is very new to me, but I'm really enjoying it, so I really appreciate it. This is Division 11, and they kind of call us the Desert Mariners because we're definitely inland. So, so basically, I'll kind of explain. Division 11, we cover southern Idaho from Oregon border in the west to the Wyoming border in the east, McCall and Cascade in the north. Populated areas include Boise, Nampa, Meridian. The mountainous region includes Cascade and Pale Lake in central Idaho, and Magic and Sun Valley areas. So we are very one of the fastest growing communities in the nation, and that is a thing that when I kind of talk about our when we get members, that's something that we really need to tap into. So that's very exciting that the COVID is kind of back to normal and getting engaged. We had our first level, kind of going back, basically our Flotilla 11-4 in Boise. We had our first meeting here a couple of weeks ago and engaging members and everything. So that was really great to finally get out doing stuff. So 3 things we're struggling with is trying to find future leaders. We're really extremely small flotilla. And like I said, I'm privy to have 1 flotilla under my division, but we're really struggling on the leadership end. I don't know who's going to be my replacement, and that is a struggle we face. Also, from the flotilla commander position, that's going to be a struggle as well. So that's one thing that we're going to have to determine going forward. Remotivating our members, that's another struggle, and we kind of talked about that. And I think that will kind of come hand in hand with us getting out and getting more involved. So that should solve itself. We kind of talked about recruitment. We really need to tap into our growing population, and we need to find creative ways of attracting members into the auxiliary. 3 things we really do well. Our membership really works well together. We're really a cohesive group, and that's really a positive thing. We have a really, Camille Hallam is doing an outstanding job as flotilla commander. And some of the meetings, she's really trying to network and bring a lot of different groups, law enforcement, different partners together once again with our face-to-face meetings. So we're really trying to get out there in the community. And we're trying to make missions according to local needs. And we're working on our local lake, which is Lucky Peak. And we're working with Army Corps of Engineers, which controls that lake. And so we're really trying to increase those partnerships. The plan for next year, of course, to increase the membership, and I kind of discussed a little bit about that. Increase our partnerships with law enforcement, Army Corps, different fire departments, different partners in the community. We want to rebuild our operations program, and that's a struggle. We have 1 facility, and we really need to grow that, hopefully with our, like I said, increased population. We've had several people transfer into our area, and from different regions and auxiliary, and we're hoping we can continue to build this, which I think we will. We have several new members, so that's really good, that transfer. We also been working with a partnership with Depot Bay, which has been outstanding, and that's a really good way for our inland members to network with coastal flotilla. So that's really been beneficial, and we really appreciate that partnership. We've been really hitting the Palacraft initiative really hard. We've distributed 1,700 kits in the valley, and with our drought that we're going to be facing, I think more people are going to be hitting the rivers and the lakes, and so we're going to really be hitting that again. And also increase our public affairs interaction and safety awareness, wearing life jackets, trying to get the youth involved. And we have some programs with, we have a Youth Appreciation Day, and we also have a elementary school presentation and a Waterfowlers of Idaho appreciation event. And of course, National Boating Safety Week, that is something that we're hitting really hard. And that's going to be a real positive thing to get re-energized and get out in the community again. So I appreciate your time and thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Scott. So before we take a break, I do want to thank a couple of people. When I started to come here the other day, I called Dan and I said, we don't have anybody to take photos. What the heck are we going to do? Thanks to Mr. Meagle back there. He's been here the whole time. He just said, okay, I'll come. So if you see him taking photos, it's great. Darren, I can never say enough. Commodore Lewis over there. I mean, between MC and every one of our virtual things and live ones, I know 4 years now you've been doing it. So it had to be way before that. And so we talked about live streaming. He's putting us on live. Thanks very much. But let's do this because I know everybody would like to take a break. So why don't we take a 15-minute break? Does that sound good to you? Give a chance to do whatever you need to do and be back here at 10 minutes till. How about that? Okay. Damn, that air conditioner would come on and I'd freeze to death.
Somebody can see underneath here, right?
This is getting old. This is getting old. It's always it is. And Orlando, there's the Maldives.
Oh, I
Good job. Good job.
Thinking about walking upstairs and getting a jacket. I said a lot of things. I'm thinking about chocolate. I gotta have all the brain power I can
This is actually they're looking at 6-second videos from This is an interesting thing that they just asked us. It's like people said, sure, we could do that. Water in the public. It's a big thing. Years ago, we put up to our readers around the desk of our readers at all of our stations. Because they're like, hey, they should probably do this. That's what we gotta get out there. There's probably every technical emergency we have, there's 140 things that nobody knows about. That's my advice. Yeah, good idea. We got them out early January. They were all through before by January 1st. We got them out like the 5th. That's the challenge. Yeah, that's the challenge. Yeah, so we put them out early January. We went to the DSOs. Well, I would encourage you after the first year look on the operations and website because that's where we are. And we sent them out to all the DSO, sent a link to all the DSO ops in January. Yeah.
I can't put that on my report. I want to make sure it's out.
So do it. So
we're not getting it out before March.
No, it's been out since January. Last year, not. We got it out too late. It was a problem. It took approvals. They wanted to add things about COVID in there, so we went back and forth. It took forever. This time, we had, on our part, we had it done in November, December, and it got approved at December next month and got out January. But I would encourage you, if you can have somebody who can teach those courses like the ops workshop, go to your district. In my district, we have webinars, and we do by webinar like 5 times a month for every month in January. Yeah, because we never training. This is never December training. Yeah. Call me, I'll do it for you. Yeah, call me, I'll put it on the webinar, no worries. I've already done a couple this year. And then you start January, we should get all that stuff done. I agree. First couple months of the year. So and that's the PE training is March this year. Yeah. Perfect time to be sitting home doing your exactly. Yeah, but if you do need somebody to do the ops training, look at I'm happy to look for it. Yeah, and IT is also, instructors also can share. That's the tough one. I mean, they can still work. They have till the end of June to do it. It's still a vessel safety checks and stuff to the end of June. Well, they should be out there.
Get out of the boat at the same time.
Exactly. I know, I get it. Exactly.
We're working on the paperwork for National Safe Boating.
It's a challenge, yeah, it's a challenge. Some of those you can offer in the evening, so they're not taking away from the weekends, that helps too. Yeah, we do, our district does, we have 4 or 5 days of classes every night, all month long. There's a class almost every night. And especially this time of year when everything's yeah, you got our house.
We got ours right after. They should ride.
Yeah, I got my first couple weeks in January.
I'm also under the house.
Yeah.
What's our relationship, the auxiliary relationship with the Power Squad and
We're the same program.
So we're the administrators of that program.
I don't know that. I think we both went into it. Yeah.
So we're saying the auxiliary goes out. Gets the decals and they get the decals and they get the decals to the senior membership of the Power Squad and it filters down to their organization. Well, we get the decals in December, January, it's like January, February, Power Squad. And I just, there's just recently got an email from one of my squad leaders. He's hanging it up.
Last thing for staying so long.
I didn't know what was he wants to get his name off. His name was recently
Oh, okay. So what he needs to do is he needs to tell his to the commander that he wants to step back from the program.
Actually, it's program chairman.
Okay. And then, well, I don't know the Power Squad. It's somehow, yeah, I don't know. Contact them and then you have to, there you go. Yeah, he'll probably do it.
So I think it has to go program chairman, out the way, to the top level of Power Squad, and then cross over into the auxiliary.
Yeah, I have no idea. I have no idea about Power Squad. I've not been involved with them. Sorry. But good luck to you. I hope you get all your training done. But I understand your frustration. You gotta get it done early in the year. Or people go into reunion because they're all working and they don't have time for training. And yeah, get it done early. Yeah. Good luck to you.
And so I don't know, we don't get called, I can go to get training. In the past, I filled it out online and then somehow filled it in. I don't know. I'm okay to tell them later. I was told with these gals in the past, so I would. I guess, I don't know, I've never done, I just look
We're getting close.
I'm pretty 70. No, I'm glad you did because I was like, I'm gonna have to address this at some point, and I wasn't gonna do it. I was like, I'll have to address it in the closing remarks, and that's what I thought. I was like. Right, but still, it's a fact. He could have done exactly what he did. He worded it. The fact that he made a point of blaming him. That's why I think guess what? I'm from Boston. Right now, see their last numbers and give them
Hey, everyone, let's start sitting down, okay? It is 10 to 10. Hello.
It's happening. It's happening. This is the one thing I'll tell you that was nice about the virtual stuff. One of the things because you didn't have the break, like we had the breaks, but people usually were up back on time. And then we were like, all right, we'll take a 5 or 10 minute break. It would become a 20-minute break or a 30-minute break.
No, it was. It was very efficient.
Hello, everyone. Please sit down. All right, I'm going to start. I think my voice is louder than this thing here.
Ladies and gentlemen, find your seats, please.
Thanks, Darren. You know, I'm gonna tell you like a school teacher told me one time. She said, if I give you a 10-minute break, you take 20 minutes. So I'm gonna have to cut it down to a 3-minute break and you'll make it into 6 or 7 minutes. I'm just joking. Thanks for that, everyone. All right, we're gonna get this started. So we have other things going on today. We have the IAS training. We also have the division commander training, and we have the QE meeting going on. And so we got a full afternoon. And then, of course, later on tonight, we have the dinner, and you division commanders are going to get to carry back all of the things that came from the awards ceremony, okay? The streamers, which you can put on your flags, and the plaques and stuff. So you'll have, I hope you're not flying because you're going to have a big old bag. All right. So what we'd like to do now is I'd like to have Mr. Krisher. Are you around? All right. Please come up and give the finance report, sir.
My name is Ephraim Krisher. I'm pleased to serve as your DSO Finance. I am very pleased to say that the budget that the board passed last September is in good order. At this time, there were no need to amend the budget. We'll see at the September meeting, but we're doing fine. And one of the highlights of the budget is funds for training the funds that are available for training. And so I hope that you will all make it possible for me to write some checks to reimburse you for training. And so please make use of the funds. They're there. The Commodore requested the funds to be available for our members. Let's use them. I'd like to thank my ADSO FNs, Penny Milzewski and Art Cummings. They've been great, and I really appreciate their assistance. I'd like to thank Commodore Milewski for the new 7025 that came out in November. And it's been great. When we did the audits this year, the one thing we didn't have a problem with was the addition and subtraction mistakes, because the form took care of that. So that's been great. As you know, there's a new finance SOP, and I'm sure it's on your reading list with a high priority. We are going to have a conference on April 28th with the finance officers from National going over the SOP, and we will have a Zoom meeting on May 3rd for finance officers, for division commanders, flotilla commanders, anybody else who's interested on the new SOP. So I hope you put May 3rd down on your calendar, and hope to see you all there, because it's going to be important, the new SOP. Does anybody have any questions? Thank you.
Thanks, Ephraim. Ephraim said something funny the other day, as all you know. Maggie Albert was our DSO finance for umpteen years, okay? And she stands about 4'8", and I know she'll get mad at me if I actually tell the thing. And Ephraim said he saw her and she's about 6'2" now, that she doesn't have finance to worry about. So I did think that was very good. And Maggie, forgive me. My wife said, "Why are you so afraid of her?" And I said, "You don't understand." So with that, Neil, minutes.
The
Minutes were submitted out to the board as per our last meeting in December. I have not received any corrections.
All right, do I have a motion to accept the minutes as written? Do I have a second? Any discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Okay, the minutes have carried, and thank you. The only, I mean, I don't really know of any old business because it'd be really old, okay? We hadn't met in a while. I mean, our old business is still getting things done, getting our people out and everything. And that's our new business too. Does anybody have any items that they'd like to bring before the board at this time? Well, let me bring something up, okay? We used to, and it's been some time ago, take and whoever traveled the furthest to come to one of our meetings on their own dime, okay? Not as a partner of one of the division commanders, but somebody that didn't come any orders would come here. We would compile and make sure that we got the miles, and we would pay for the person that came the furthest for that weekend to stay here. I'm putting that out. We already do an award through the Past Division Commanders Association as a unit, but that's one of the prettiest plaques you ever want to see that you get to take home. Steve can understand. Anybody that's ever taken it home, my wife told me don't ever bring that thing in the house again, okay? But anyway, what I would like to do is an incentive. And by putting this out that we would pay for an individual, I mean, it'd be up to you division commanders to see who of your people have come to the meeting that are not on no orders or anything else. And we figure out what their mileage is. Pure mileage, okay? Whoever's the furthest point, and we'll take one individual, and if it seems to light up, we might do a little more in the future, okay? In order to do that, the cost factor, it could be with hotel room and gas, they get paid. That's a pretty good amount. So it could be anywhere from $700 to $900, somewhere in that neighborhood there. But do I have a motion to do something of sort?
I would move the Commodore's proposal.
All right. Do I have a second?
Second.
Is there any further discussion on it? All that is in favor? Okay.
I would discuss, just knowing my division commander and vice as I do, they would likely want me to ask about, you said it was approximately $700 per year or twice annually?
Twice annually.
Do we know what the long-term impact to the district would be? How much, where would that come from in terms of the actual funding?
It'd come from our budget that we have out there, whether it's special things or from my travel money or from one of the travel money that's already set up there. It's not adding to the budget. It's only taken from a line item out of it.
So it would be reallocating from a line item, not establishing a new line item.
Correct. And I have to tell you, we don't have a problem even if we reallocate it, okay? But if we would not change the budget, then we just had the budget given, okay? So it would come from our special event. We have a line item that's called special items, correct, Ephraim?
Yes.
Okay. Any other questions? That's a good question. With that, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed? Motion carries. Okay, make sure that you check with your members that are here and see what their mileages are, okay?
No, I don't count though, right?
No, sir, and you're under orders. Thank you, guys. It's the little things sometimes that means a lot. And believe you me, when we took a look at the monies, and one of the things tried to do is to make sure if we're going to spend the money, we're spending it on our members, okay, and on the members that are doing something. I've said all along, I don't want to just give the money away by not, and it fall in the hands of people that don't do anything anyway. I'd rather help somebody that is trying to do something and trying to move forward, okay? So with that in mind, I would like now, you decaps thought you were going to get away without talking. That's not going to happen. And decap North, since you're from the north, you start first. I almost said that like Ephraim, you know?
All right. Well, nice to see everybody. I wanted to wait to decide what to say until I heard what all the fabulous reports were going to be from the northern area. And I just want to say how proud I am of all of our units. They're doing such a wide range of activities and mission areas and supporting active duty and getting out there and promoting recreational boating safety, which is our meat and potatoes. And so I just want to thank everybody working so hard in the northern area. And so I just wanted to fill in the cracks a little bit. I also work very closely with the HR DSO and the public affairs DSO. And so I thought I'd just make a few comments that sort of helped to elucidate some of the things that are going on in that area and what we can look forward to this year as well. I'm going to have to put my glasses back on. First of all, I wanted to really make sure that everybody knows some of the really cool stuff that's going on in an important augmentation area, which is the Culinary Assistant Program. And if anybody wants to know more about that, you can talk to Jim Enborn. He's quite the expert. And I don't have all the statistics, unfortunately, but I know that we have quite a few culinary assistant specialists who have gotten their qualifications this past year since our last district meeting. And they're serving in some really amazing capacities out there. And of course, several people who already had that qualification have been serving on cutters. Max Schneider from the northern area, Ed Leckert from the eastern area. And then I don't know if all of you know about this, but a young woman who was a recent graduate from one of the culinary institutes in the Seattle area agreed to a crazy proposal that within 60 days, she would join the auxiliary, get through her initial BQ steps, get qualified to do culinary assistance, and then be deployed on the Polar Star and go to the Antarctica. And she did it. And it's pretty crazy. And it also meant not only that she had to step up, but the team, like Jim Enborn and Heidi Bredehoft, who were the HR team and the culinary assistance training team, had to step up as well and really support her. But she went out on this mission. She was out on the ship for months. And it was quite a historic voyage. I was just reading the press release about it. And apparently the ship went as far south as any ship has ever gone. That's what the press release said. So I don't know. It was quite a historic trip. And she really served the active duty in a way that was very meaningful. And it's been a great part for her launching her career in food service. I've heard rumors that she's considering enlisting in the active duty, which is pretty darn cool. So this is just an example of how we can take on a challenge that seems undoable and actually do it. So I just want to encourage you to sort of look at some of the challenges that you're facing and think about that example. I was really impressed with that. So I also wanted to give a bit of a pep talk on behalf of our public affairs DSO, who is not here today, Deb Cordone, who has done amazing work on all different levels. And I'm just very proud to support her as an assistant district staff officer for public affairs, that we have National Safe Boating Week coming up next month. And now is the time you need to get busy if you want to put in a proposal to your local municipalities to ask for a proclamation of National Safe Boating Week, and you can customize the language. now's the time to send that in because they like to get it about 30 days ahead. So I know in the greater Seattle area, we've done a lot of that thanks to Dale Vodica. He works really hard at that. It's a great opportunity to raise the visibility of our organization and what we do, and to network with our boating safety partners and other community partners, and just be out there, because that's what we really need to do right now, is really raise our visibility. And that's going to help us recruit more members, which is something we really need to do. And then really let the public know about what we do, so that we can really carry out our missions to the public, as well as to support the active duty as well. I've been talking to a bunch of people about re-engaging our members and getting them back out there and finding the right activities for them to do. And so this is part of HR, but it's all of our jobs. HR is really all of our jobs, recruiting new people, getting them onboarded so they find something that's meaningful for them to do, and re-engaging some of our existing members, some of those backbenchers. It's time to bring them back. I would just say that I know that there's a number of people that are very COVID conscious. They're very concerned about getting sick, and we need to be respectful of that. But there are so many things they can even be doing from home. And I was just talking about people who could build a life jacket loaner station in their garage, or people who could sit at home entering data for other members. There's a lot of things that we can have people do that they can do from home. But for those who are healthy and who like to be out and active, and who have chosen to be sidelined because they are not getting with the vaccination program, I would just ask all of you, because I know I'm preaching to the choir here, you're the vaccinated, and I would ask you to go back to your units, because you're the trusted friend and shipmate who can maybe put a word in for, hey, you know, you took that oath that you were going to support the Coast Guard and its purposes. This is the time we need you. We need to save lives this summer out on the water. We need to be out there teaching people how to be safe on the water. You know, now's not the time to sideline. We need you to get with the program. If you have a friend or a shipmate in your unit that you can talk to about that, I encourage you to do that. It's time for us to step up and be out there with the public. And for those who might be a little hesitant, maybe a word from you, their friend, might make a difference. So I'm just going to ask you to do that, and I'm going to step down. And thank you so much. This has been a great opportunity to serve, and I'm looking forward to being out there with all of you. And let me know if I can help in any way.
Thanks. All right, DCAP South.
Good morning. We are back. I'm really grateful to be here and to see all of you. And I'm also grateful for the 3 division commanders I have. I'm very fortunate. They're very competent leaders, and they're very committed to their membership. And we've got a lot of good things in store this year. The southern area is preparing for another busy boating season. Our area has activity going on in pretty much every locale. It's very target rich. And our folks have been training throughout the area, as other areas have mentioned, they do. And I think it's really important that we get out there as soon as we can. We're going to have another busy year. We saw it in the last 3. The activity is trending upward, and this year will be no exception for us. I know we're going to spend some time training this weekend. We're going to refresh our skills, and we're going to do that to better serve the Coast Guard and our boating public. So when you go out to perform your missions this year, after you're trained and refreshed, remember to take out your newer members or people who are trainees and want to enter into a certain mission area. Mentoring is really important. Be a good mentor, because mentoring is really one of the keys to recruitment and retention. And there was a lot of conversation yesterday about recruitment and retention, and I'm sure that you'll hear more throughout the weekend. And I sort of think back to when I got started in 2008. I could name a dozen people that really helped me get going and helped me get involved in different programs. And you look back really fondly on that stuff. So be the person that takes that new member and invites them out when you go do a VE or a program visit or whatever your mission of choice is. The other thing I really want to talk about is safety. You know, we've a lot of us have been sidelined a little bit, or we've been gradual in coming back, and safety has to be a part of everything we do. It's no accident. You make it happen every time you go out, and safety pays you every night when you get home safely from doing what you do. So always have safety in mind when you go. Find missions that you enjoy doing, get involved, and have a lot of fun this summer, and help boaters all that you can. And look to the safety of your shipmates. Thanks.
Thanks, Kevin. Great job. And great job, everyone. Great reports. Gives me the feeling that I have not felt in a long while. Okay. It's feeling that things are starting to happen, that we're starting as a whole. I mean, I noticed it in the neighborhood, you know, and I know you have, and amongst us. This is the first time that I felt like we're taking a step forward and not a half step forward and 2 steps backwards. Okay, like the Texas 2-step. We're actually doing something that's going forward. And I have to tell you, it's one of my greatest pleasures, and not only honor and stuff, but it's a pleasure to serve you guys. To me, that's what it's all about. I was telling in the XCOM meeting yesterday of a flotilla commander calling me and asking me help with a new member about how to get them. They had a problem trying to get onto the new Moodle. And so we took a few minutes and come to find out they had not set up their password with Ox Directory yet. Okay. To me, that's the things I love doing, is knowing that a new member is going forward, that they can do something, whether it be a he or she. And that's what we as leaders have to be able to do. When I say have to be able to do, even if we don't totally know how to do it, we've got to make that new member or old member that calls us and asks us for help. Let's help them. You know, don't get mad because they call you and say, you shouldn't have called me. You need to call so-and-so. That's not the case. And with us getting out right now for the first time in 2 years, we need to make the public feel that way. Okay? We need to be able and willing to help people. And, you know, that's my biggest thing. I consider myself very lucky. Over 3 years in this position and with some of the greatest people that I've ever dealt with, and that's you, okay? And that's the people that are not here that I'm speaking to out on live stream right now. This is what it's all about. This is Pacific Northwest. This is us helping people. And the boating public needs us. The Coast Guard, you heard Commodore Maluski talk about all the things that are opening up with the Coast Guard that they want us for. We know even in our area here. I mean, they asked us, look at Linda and Charles, what they're doing for MSU. I could start naming it. We help, Sector Puget Sound, I see 1 million requests come through on a daily basis. Do you have somebody can help with this or that? I mean, granted, sometimes we have somebody slip through the hoop that becomes a UAV pilot without somebody knowing about it right away. The OTO is going to shoot me there. Okay. But that's what it's about. That's our attitude is, yeah, I can do it. You know, you heard also too about where the Commandant asked, do you have anybody can do this? Yeah, we do. And I think that's the reason it also starts with our leadership, where we just say yes. How can I help you? You know, I love being out at a dock or somewhere else. And I've always said this. Have you noticed you go around a marina or a dock do you ever really meet bad people? If somebody's on the dock and you're coming in, what do they normally say? Throw me your line. You don't hear, I'm not taking your damn line. Okay? They say, well, they may say it, but they're still nice too. Believe it or not, when I moved here from Rhode Island. Okay? Now, they just had a little bit more of an accent with the Italian side of it, okay? But I got some, no, I'm not going to tell you those stories, okay? Because what they say, the most made men that there is all come from Rhode Island, and I almost believe that, man. Come to find out, the lady that worked for us, her husband was married to one of them, and I'd realized, I'd go, okay, ma'am. But anyway, I told you I wasn't going to get into all these stories, but I do want to tell you thank you. I'm not going to spend a long time. If you would have asked me 5 years ago, would I have been here? It's funny, somebody was talking to me about it the other day, and I never had this intent, okay? My intent was to keep doing all I could do out in the public and with boating and everything else, all right? And it happened. I'm appreciative of it. But the reason I'm appreciative of it is because I thank each and every one of you for the jobs that you do and how much help and how you make me feel. And that's how we have to do each other. And that's how we have to do our members. If we're able to get to our members this type of feeling, you want to talk about retention, you want to talk about growth, you want to talk about learning and really making a difference to the public, that's how we do it. We will not do it by complaining, or as I call them, pity parties, okay? Pity me, pity you, pity me, pity you. We do it by, what can I do for you? How can I help? I may walk slower than I used to. I definitely can't pick up what I used to, and don't ask me to go in a ditch anymore, okay? Because I'm not going to make it back up the other side. I'm going to get on the boat, but I'm not going to be going up and running around the deck anymore, okay? But I will get it done. And that's what I have to always say about a job. You give me a task, I only know one thing. How do I go about getting this task done? What do I have to do? And I try not to show, if I may be moving slower, I'll get you talking about something else while I'm still walking to get there, okay? But we will get it done. And so thank you for that. Thank you for being here. And I've talked longer than I wanted to, okay? But I seem to always do that. My wife just always tells me, shut up, boy. But anyway, so with that, what I would like to do now is have our Commander, Chief Warrant Officer, well, you're Dyrox, okay? Thanks.
All right, this is being live streamed, right? So I want that Commander pay raise. Thank you. Thank you very much, Commodore.
Anything I can do to help.
Again, I want on behalf of Admiral Boulis, District 13 Commander, I want to thank you guys for everything you do. And then obviously my immediate supervisor after that, Captain Burkett. Again, thank you for what you've done. We've talked about like a lot of the stuff that, that the auxiliaries done or provided to the public. We talked about the aux chefs, chaplain services. One of the things, I don't know if Ron mentions it, but in his brief, but they implemented beach patrols. So, I mean, it's just amazing some of the stuff you do. Deborah, for those of you that might not know, that she puts on the lighthouse tours at Alakai Point, during the summer period, and it's all put on by you, the auxiliary. So it's just you guys do some amazing stuff, and again, just like you guys are like octopuses, you got tentacles everywhere. And I'll give you a quick little story. The other day, I'd say the other day, it was about a month and a half or so ago, I had to do a follow-up on one of my my physical health assessment, my annual physical exam. And so I went out to Port Angeles at the air station out there. And I just happened to be out there doing some other business. And I stopped in and made an appointment. And they're like, yeah, we don't have a doctor right now because the previous doctor had retired, and which I knew. And he retired back in October. And so they're like, yeah, we'll give you a call. We should have a doctor in here in about 2 weeks. And I was like, okay, great, fantastic. So I got a phone call. They're like, all right, we have an appointment for you, Bosun. And so I got to my appointment and, check in, do all that stuff. I get called in, I get in the waiting room. I got the health service technician taking my vitals. And then they're like, all right, doctor will be with you in a minute. And so we all know they're never with you in a minute. I mean, it's a few more than that. But anyway, doctor comes in and we start talking, and he's in the smocks, so he's not in a uniform, and I don't know who he is. I don't recognize him. He's over there. Of course, he's on a computer because we have to data entry everything. And he's like, "What do you drive?" And I was like, "Excuse me, sir." He's like, "What do you drive?" And I was like, "You mean my car?" Or he's like, "No, what do you drive in the Coast Guard?" And I was like, "Oh," I said, I guess I kind of drive the auxiliary now. I used to drive ships and cutters and boats. But he's like, "Oh, you're in the auxiliary?" I said, "Well, no, I'm up at the District 13 auxiliary branch." He's like, "What do you do up there?" And I was like, "Well, I'm the operations training officer." And he's like, "Wow." He goes, "I'm an auxiliarist." And I was like, "Oh, really?" I was like, I was like, "Are you live local? Are you new? Are you going to be the new dog we started?" He's like, "No, I'm from Clearwater, Florida." And I was like, "What?" And he's like, "Yeah, I'm filling in temporary duty for the next 2 months because he goes, and I'm one of, I think he said one of only 4 Coast Guard certified or auxiliary flight surgeons." And I was like, "Wow, that's pretty amazing. I didn't know that, And as we kind of talked a little bit, further into the conversation, he was like, "Yeah, I just, a few months back, I was out in Hawaii covering for Air Station Barbers Point." And I was like, "Really?" He's like, "Yeah." And I was like, "How do you so what are you doing now?" He's like, "Yeah, they have me staying up at the Olympic Lodge in Port Angeles." And he goes, "I come to work." He goes, "I love it." And it's like, "Well, thank you for what you're doing. Because if he was not doing that, or you, the auxiliary, was doing that, we would be without a doctor. The active duty workforce would not have a doctor at our clinic." So, I mean, it's pretty amazing stuff. And that caught me so off guard. And of course, when I got out of my, appointment with him, I immediately got on the phone where Commander Brown was still, hadn't retired yet. And, I basically sent a text message to our entire staff, like, "You're not going to believe this. I just got out of the doctor, and guess who my doctor was?" And they're, "I'm a doctor so-and-so." And I was like, "No, it was an auxiliarist," So, so amazing. It's one of those things. It's just amazing what you guys do. So I appreciate it. The Admiral appreciates it. And again, it's just one of those things where you get kind of caught off guard from time to time for what you guys actually do, and it doesn't go unnoticed. So thank you very much. And I will now turn it over to so you don't have to get up.
Thanks, sir.
And what do we have? Is it NACO?
Yes, sir.
So who is it? Which one? National. So there.
That's me.
Thank you, sir.
That sums it up. I don't know what else I could say. That sums it up. That's great. Thanks, Bosun. That's what really brings joy to my heart. But what I wanted to say before he completely distracted me, you know what the best thing about this meeting is? It's normal. It's normal. There are a lot of remarks. It's great to be back. It's great to see each other again. It's great everybody has pants on, but it's just, and I've been to district meetings from Florida to Hawaii. It's good, better, and best. This is one of the best. You know, good reports. Everybody's on point. Everybody is doing their job. It's very impressive, but it's normal. That's tremendous. Nothing brings, more joy to my heart than we're back on track. So that's great. And I just wanted to remind everybody and tell everybody how lucky you are. Number one, you're lucky to be in the auxiliary. You're lucky to be part of an organization that does something like the bosun just described. We're part of that team. We make a difference. And you're very lucky with your leadership team. Tiny and Dan, great team in the DCAPs. Very impressed. I spent the day with them yesterday. You think you're tired of me right now? These poor folks. It's like over 24 hours. But that I have learned in the auxiliary, and I've learned a lot about leadership. And most of what I've learned was watching other leaders, taking the good and the bad. And you have a lot to learn here. You have a lot of leadership qualities that I think you should pay attention to, really. And you're very fortunate. Because I've seen this in my auxiliary career. You see a unit, whether it be a flotilla, a division, or a district that's, let me see, how can you say this nicely? Going down the tubes. And, how can we fix this? What can we do? And then there's, that change of leadership. And suddenly it's the best division, it's the best district in the area. And D13, you guys are doing a tremendous job. You're something for the other districts to look up to and to emulate. So thank you very much. And there's one thing I never want to get in the way of is a meal. So thanks.
All right, Mayor. Commodore Kirkwood.
All right. I'd like to mimic what National Commodore just said. I have to say, it was great yesterday at the XCOM to hear from the DCAPs and DDCs about what was going on. But, hearing the division reports was just outstanding. I mean, to hear what everybody's doing and doing it, you each have something unique. Each group, whether it's your region and what's unique in your region, but it's just wonderful to hear the work that the members are doing to make our nation safe in our boating waterways. And so thank you for that. And I want to say, looking at your flags, the flag ceremony this morning was wonderful. Coming in, seeing all your division flags. I'm looking around, I see 60 years. There's a 50 years. There's a public education ribbon. There is one I saw for public affairs. It's no wonder this district has done so well coming through the pandemic, because you've got strong membership, you've got strong leadership, you've got history, and that history propels you forward through the worst of times. And I can say probably, without challenge, this has been the worst time in our history of an organization the past 2 years. And look where we are, and look where you are. Again, because of your strength, your history, and the can-do-itness of your membership. So again, thank you very much. It's been great to be here today, and I look forward to seeing you all a little later. Thank you.
Thank you. All right, Dan.
I'd just like to repeat three different things that were mentioned. Number one, thank you for all the tremendous work that you've done, all the tremendous work that you're doing and will do. Number two, thank you for being resilient, for being flexible, for getting us through this period. And number three, thank you for allowing me to serve you as District Chief of Staff.
All right. We're going to call to adjourn here in a minute, but at 11:30 is lunch. It's going to be in the Monarch Hall West. That's where I think we had dinner last night. So same place, which is at the opposite end of where we're at. All right. Thank you for being here. Do I have a motion to adjourn? Do I have a second on the adjournment?
Second.
All those in favor? All right, thank you. Meeting is over.
The store will be open in 15 minutes.
All right.
All right.
Yeah, I love You guys are. All right, sir.
Got a couple thoughts whenever you have time. Do we have a program for tonight? You sent me the agendas, but I don't like an actual program, order of ceremonies, those kinds of things for tonight. Or are we going to need to make that up? Because I can go take care of that if we don't have one. But
We don't have a program
Okay.
to speak of. It would be great.
Okay, so what I would ask in our training this afternoon, what I'd ask is that we put the DCO instruction element at the end.
Okay.
I drank beer too late last night, so my wife drove me over, so I got to Uber back and pick up my uniforms and come back, and I will take care of the master of ceremonies then. I just have a rule: I don't get on the road within X number of hours, right? So,
Okay.
yeah, I don't know why I wanted a beer at 11, but. And then,